is a hot take. I don't like the Fuji film simulations at all. So recently I was just going through some of the photos that I took over the holidays. I kind of want to share my experiences with you a little bit. I'm not going to share any of the photos with you because it's just, you know, my kids and my wife and everybody just opening up presents and stuff. So it's really not that interesting, but the more thing that pertains to photography is kind of the systems I use and how they kind of worked and kind of what I learned from that. The first session I was using the Fuji X-T32, and the reason, and with a 27mm 2.8 lens, and the reason I use that is because I wanted to use the onboard flash. I got those photos back. Here is a hot take. I don't like the Fuji film simulations at all. I just don't like any of them. I decided I was just going to use classic negative because that's what everybody talks about. Classic negative this, classic negative that. I got all the photos back and started reviewing them, and I didn't like them. I didn't like the colors. I just didn't like them. Plus, pretty much all of them were blurry in some way, either out of focus, mostly out of focus because I was using single point autofocus because the Fujifilm autofocus in that particular style, that particular age of camera is just pretty bad, or they were blurry because of motion blur. I thought I had the shutter speed set high enough, but I just didn't. So I just didn't like any of them. So what I wound up doing was just taking a few photos that I actually got that were in focus or not blurry, putting them into Lightroom and changing them all to Provia and edit them the way I like to edit them. So to me, I just don't like the film simulations. It's just, I don't know if it's just me or anybody else like that. I don't know. I just like to edit the photos the way I want to edit the photos. I just don't like them. And then I found that out in the past is like, you know, when I'm out taking photos and I'm trying to decide on which film simulation to use, I don't know which one goes with what situation and blah, blah, blah. To me, it's just better and more calming for me if I get a JPEG of the scene, as you know, as accurate as possible, and then get a raw photo if I want to edit it later and kind of, you know, put my own little spin on it. That's what I like doing. So the second session, I got out my Sony, you know, and every picture was in focus. There was no blurry photos. I put them into Lightroom, put my preset on there that I use, that I like, that I use pretty much on every photo that I take. It's just, you know, kind of what I like. And that took me about 20 minutes to do, to edit all those photos, and everything was perfect. And I got exactly the photos that I wanted. You see all these videos online, like why I'm switching from Sony to this, or why I'm switching from Fuji to that, all these type of videos. The bottom line is, if you're comfortable with a system, just stick with that system, you know? And that's my biggest takeaway of the whole weekend. It's like, I am comfortable with Sony. Yes, I would rather take photos on a Fujifilm camera. There's no doubt about that. It's more, the photo taking experience is better with Fujifilm. There's no doubt about that. But I'm more comfortable with Sony. I like what Sony gives me. I like the results I get with a Sony. So there's no reason to change. So don't let anybody talk you into changing if you're comfortable with one particular system over another. It's just not worth it, you know, unless that system has serious flaws that you just can't get around. It's better just to stay with whatever system you have. I tell you what, I just don't know if Fuji is right for me. I've tried it and tried it and tried it. I just don't like it. And I don't like the film simulations, which is the whole thing. Another takeaway from this weekend is, like, I don't know if you guys have ever anybody's ever told you, like, oh, your camera takes really good pictures. Like, yeah, oh yeah, my camera takes really good pictures, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that might be true. You know, I use my camera and I take really good pictures with it. But recently, I let somebody borrow my camera, which was a little bit scary in its own right because, you know, you have a little bit of money tied up in these cameras. But they wanted to take some photos of a family event. So I was like, okay, here's my camera. Please take good care of it. I gave her a basic rundown of how to use it. And, you know, you kind of get those comments like, oh, your camera's so good, or oh, your camera takes really good photos. But I told this person, I was like, you take all the photos with my camera and, you know, bring my camera back to me. I'll edit your photos and I'll send them to you. Well, I got those photos back, and then I realized all of a sudden, like, yo, it's not the camera. It is not the camera. Don't let anybody ever tell you that your camera takes good photos, because it takes a lot of time to develop a skill to be a good photographer. It's the timing, it's the angles, it's the being able to set the camera how you want it. All these things add up to take good photos with the camera. It's not just point and shoot. You had to kind of laugh at that just a little bit. You had to just kind of chuckle at that just a little bit, because there's so much more that goes into it than just the camera. So just a kind of recap of what I got going on over the holidays as far as photography goes. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.